G'day everybody, I hope you can hear me alright. This is Captain Australia, currently walking across the lovely Story Bridge, which I often would walk across as a child. So I don't know, let's see if you can see the beautiful city behind me. That's lovely Brisbane, or as Bris Vegas as the locals might call it, or used to. I don't know these days. Brizzy! Yes, I'm walking across the Story Bridge, heading down through South Bank. I was kind of hoping for a bit of weather today, just to see how well I resist the rain. The forecast was for very likely rain. So sorry, in case you do not know who I am or what I'm about, my name is Simon. I also am the buffhead, home brand superhero, Captain Australia. Why do I do that, you ask? That's a very good question. The answer is very complicated. Alright, my first motivation for doing a big walk was to overcome my fight with a stage 4 cancer. Invasive head and neck cancer, 6 months to live kind of deal, and it wrecked me. Grown man, wrecked me. Aged me 15 years, treatments wrecked my thyroid, put on massive weight, horrible ordeal. And I was trying, and I kept trying, because I love my family, I have great things in my life, but cancer tries to not just kill you, it tries to suck all of the joy and goodness out of your life. And I wasn't bouncing back. And then I remembered back to my childhood, when I was 15, left home, took a big walk. It was an adventure, it was an escape, it was healing. And I reached back for that feeling that hope is available, that positive change is available, that I'm not just waiting to die. So I realized I needed to take a big walk. And then I realized, you know what, I need a bloody big walk. So I'm gonna go all the way down from Brisbane to Melbourne, and it just made perfect sense to do it for charity. So that's what this looks like. I don't think I'm Batman. I don't want to fight crime. I do believe in fighting evil. I think evil and good are tangible forces in our lives. I genuinely believe that. We all have beliefs. Beliefs are like rectums. Respect mine. Don't look too closely at it, and take care of your own. So I believe that the good we do matters. Kindness is the antidote to suffering, and kindness spreads and propagates, okay? And it grows in the sharing. But evil and hate work the same way. They're like cancer. You know, you say something horrible to somebody, scars their day. They say something horrible to their spouse, who then says something horrible to their kids, whose childhood darkens just that little bit. So it all has a way of spreading. And it's incumbent on us to inject hope into that daily dialogue that we have with other human beings. And that's the salvation of our planet. Every problem that we have as a species can be solved by a little bit of decency, kindness and hope. It's the old Buddhist parable, it's the cure for suffering, and it's right, it's not wrong. That's my belief anyway. So, Captain Australia's big walk, let me show you the lovely city again, hopefully the phone doesn't fall in the river. Brisbane! So, the big walk is from Brisbane to Melbourne, g'day mate, Brisbane to Melbourne, 26 December 2021. And originally it was just sling a pack over your shoulder, pardon me, rediscover that sense of childhood healing. Dry airways from the cancer treatment, so I do not produce saliva anymore. I cannot taste food as well as I did. I can still taste some things. Avocado, we're going through a bonsai avocado crop, and that is still delicious. But other foods have lost their taste, so let me just pull out my canteen and have a sip. So, yeah, the big walk. The idea started as just a way to further my own personal healing, and then I realized I could do it for a charity, and I struggled to figure out what charity to help. And then it just struck me, the absolute worst thing that I've seen in my life, there's so many worthy charities out there, but the absolute worst thing that I've seen, excuse me, I'm just gonna fix my canteen. But yeah, the worst thing was seeing kids waiting for treatment. I could not abide it. Sorry for the wobbly camera there. This is all practice for me, by the way, just to add a bit of context. I want to do a good job when I'm taking my big walk of recording it, not just for you, not just to share in that message of hope and adventure. That's a big part of it. There's also just keeping a living diary for my children. I have 3 beautiful sons, and the idea of dying and leaving them was horrible to me. So the idea of leaving an adventurous diary for them is awesome. But there's the beautiful Australia. You know, I'm going to travel down the east coastline. We will see some of the most gorgeous parts of the world. You know, I mean, I'm biased, obviously, Aussie. But yeah, to share in all of that, I need to do a good job with the streams. I want to do practice an over-shoulder thing later, see how that's developing. So this is all practice. You can donate today though. So the big walk, it's in support of the Kids Cancer Project. All the details are in the sticky post on the top of the Facebook page. And it's basically about helping those kids. There's 950 kids every year diagnosed. Every year, a new crop of children, 950 of them. 20% do not survive. So it's like a couple of hundred children a year dying of cancer. Average age is 6 years old. They all have names, you know. They all have potential to bloom as human beings, but cancer has a tendency to suck the absolute life out of you. It's awful stuff. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a downer, it's just my primary motivation at this point. My own healing is fine, it's on track. I've lost 50 kilos, by the way. I know I look sloppo and crazy, but my health is profoundly better. So I walked to the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. I walked pretty much 23 hours straight. I had a little attempt at a rough sleep, an hour and a half, and that was a mistake actually. My legs kind of froze up and got all sore, so it slowed me down a lot. But yeah, that's who I am, that's what it's about. And today I'm just walking and practicing. I was hoping to get a bit of weather, see how I go in the wet, but the sun's starting to shine through. And the sun tends to do that. Whatever cloud there is over your life, whatever tunnel you're in, there's sunlight available to you. I can tell you firsthand, you know, in December of last year was wrecked, this tiniest spark of hope. When you breathe life into a bit of hope and you just lean into aggressively making the changes that you know you need to make, sunlight is available to you again. I would have struggled to believe that in December, but today, it's gorgeous, lovely. So yeah, look, I don't have much more to say than that. I want to have fun, and I want to make it fun for you, ideally too. So there's my big magic banner, by the way. I don't know how well you can see that. I like to enjoy the strangeness of it. I love the what reactions from people. I know it looks crazy, but I'm actually pretty sane. Let's have another look at the city, shall we? So, there you go. This is Brisbane. Lovely, beautiful city. That camera looks okay. So this is just recorded on a dodgy iPhone 7. Purchased second-hand online when my phone broke. Be wary though, they sell them without fixing the batteries. I can't remember the name of the vendor, it was something like Go Deal. I tend to put trauma in the past. So it was a bad experience all in all, but I got the battery repaired. The actual device is fine, pretty sturdy. But yeah, if you buy a phone online, just be careful, because they don't, they say they're refurbished, and Apple defines that as replacing the battery, but they don't, most of them. You can get a battery that's already like down to 80% of its maximum potential, which means it's significantly degraded and it only has a few months before it shits itself. Sorry, I have to control the profanity, sorry about that. So yes, iPhone 7, quality looks alright to me, could be better. I'm looking at sort of body cam solutions and stuff, because you don't need to be looking at me. You're going to want to see the beautiful beaches around Ballina and whatnot. And I've already met a few amazing people and had some great encounters, but I've done a really bad job of memorializing that, you know. It just seems too awkward to pull the phone out, turn it on. So I'm looking at that sort of a body cam thing, so if I meet anybody, oh, hey, if you want to giggle, so my wife is studying nursing. She's an accountant by trade, but she's reskilling to do nursing, and she's studying at South Bank TAFE, and I'm going to walk over there at the moment, and possibly, if they haven't started class yet, she could be sitting there with a gaggle of students, and I was going to walk past and just freak her friends out, because I don't think they really know what's going on. So my wife might, you know, yell something at me, or I might say something inappropriately sexy to her, and just like make a really awkward, funny moment for her friends. I'll try and set up the body cam just to capture that. There you go. That'll be a good experiment for a manufactured encounter that you can have a look at. Anyway, anybody watching this now or in the future, thank you so much for your interest. It's all for the Kids Cancer Project. They are an incredibly, phenomenally worthy charity. The mission of the charity is simple: eliminate pediatric cancer within our lifetime. And I don't know, I'd say that like 30 years or whatever in our lifetime means, because that's a bit varying from person to person, especially if you've had a brush with cancer yourself. So yeah, it's a massively worthy charity. If you can find it in your heart to donate, you can find the details in the sticky post. And I will sign out for now, and I'll set up over the shoulder later. So, all the best. This is Captain Australia saying see you later. And clumsily turning off the stream. G'day, Captain Australia again. I'm just going to do another over-the-shoulder camera test. So this is just really for science. Going to see some just a lovely little riverside walk through South Bank. Down, I'm at Kangaroo Point at the moment, and I'm going to walk down. There used to be a set of old stairs along the cliffs here, which I will then try and find and walk down. But just bear with me. I'm going to set you up, attached to my pack, and see if I can do an over-the-shoulder stream. Now, during the stream, anybody who watches it, you may hear me doing strange narrations. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that. That's so I know, again, science, that when I look at the stream later, you're seeing what I was seeing, and that the stream is viable. I will look into a GoPro and other technology, but I'd like ideally to make do with what I have. Now let's see. I want to orient this in such a way that you've got like a natural computer game like over-the-shoulder third-person point of view. And let's see that. Tighten that up. Strap that bad boy in. And let's make sure we're streaming. Yep. That looks roughly level. Maybe angle it up a little. It's better to be too high than too low. You have no idea what you're looking at, understandably. All will be made clear momentarily. We'll tilt you a little bit that way. I think that will give you a nice view. Let's find out. And I am sorry if it's disorienting or garbage. All this is for science. Now, let's see if I didn't move it. Okay. All good. Let's see if that is in any way viable. So, in front of me, I see some sort of rocket ship looking, you know, thingamabob. I'll call it a thingamabob. Yes, it's art. You can go inside if you want to. Okay. Wiggity wiggity walking. You should see in front of us 3 men drinking coffee, 2 people paying for their parking. Since I already look crazy, I should do more interesting narration. Our bold hero boldly strides through the crowd. That'll just freak people out more than they already are. Then again, I'm talking to myself. Sorry, trees. Cliffs, boardwalk. Okay, the old stairs are still here, still accessible to the public, still then theoretically safe. So I'm standing in front of a sign. Black sign says Cliffs, Boardwalk, River Life, South Bank. So theoretically you can see that. Now we're about to walk down some stairs. And hopefully you can tell that. If the perspective is too high, you'll see the city. If it's too low, you'll see only stairs. So here we are. Lovely. You should see a beautiful view. Let's see if you're still oriented. I think you are. Yeah, a bit wobbly. Not too bad. You should see the Riverside Freeway. There's a bridge going across there. Botanical Gardens in the city I am now turning towards. And then we're going to clamber down some stairs. So if I bend forward, you may see that. Whoops, or the flag may flop in front of you. So we'll make our way down. When I was 24, I used to run up and down these stairs. They are great for running up and down. That was about 105 years ago. They're nice and steep, but not too steep. Let's climbing down the stairs. And down we go. Now you should see the approaching bottom of the stairs. Cliffs on the left, river on the right. Oh, and a big pile of dog shit. Be careful, there's a big pile of dog shit. Oh, I hope it's dog shit on the bottom stair there. Just watch your step. It's big and nasty looking. Just the bottom step there. There we go. Good deed for the day. Save people from potential dog shit stepping in. All right, now, cliffs on the left, city, river on the right. And camera's not moving around too much. So if I've got the natural position right, it's not like flip-flopping everywhere. At least it's staying consistent. So we've made some progress. As I look at the cliff on the left, I see a love heart. A love heart with LB in there. Leon Banks. I don't know who Leon Banks is. Maybe there is a Leon Banks and it's like, that's plucked from my subconscious, like it's a famous serial killer or something. Okay. So I'm just going to randomly talk about the things that I see so that in the interest of science, I can review the stream when I get home and see if things have gotten any better at all with this over-the-shoulder dodgy camera. What it looks like is, I don't know, like I think I'm some kind of a weird robot person or something. It's basically a selfie stick strapped to the side of the pack. So you poke up on a wire like a mad antenna with the samurai banner on the other side. And hopefully you can just see directly over my shoulder. So there's cliffs on the left, river on the right, and we're going down this beautiful cycle, jog, walk, park. And then down through South Bank. Then I'll curve up in through the city. And I'll probably hop a bus home because I have to take my middle son, beautiful lad, have to take him to speech therapy, or as we call it, talking practice. So that's 1:30. So I can't stay in the city all day. Looks like there's not going to be any rain, at least not for a while. When I did that walk as a 15-year-old, this will make me sound even more bonkers than I already do, I guess. But when I did that walk as a 15-year-old, because I was sleeping rough. I mean, I got some great sleep. At first, it was hard sleeping on rocks and stuff. I didn't have a sleeping bag or anything.
But one thing that I developed was like this weather sense. I know it probably sounds mental, but I promise it. It was consistently correct for years after. So I'd like to say that, it's a measurable, real thing. That if you live exposed to the elements enough, your body just naturally interprets, the barometric pressure, humidity, and all of that, and translates it into, the modern day equivalent of whether it's going to rain or not. But I could look across the ocean, see clouds on the horizon, and know if it was going to rain that day or not. G'day, how you doing? I think I'm going to stop telling people that I'm not mental, because I appear to be mental. So if I am, it's a lie. And if I'm not, well, it belies the way that I look. So I might as well just lean into it and just tell people I'm not dangerous. Because I love some of the reactions from people, but one of the ones I don't like is when people look at me with sort of outright concern, like they think I'm going to do something wobbly, pull out an AK-47 or something from my bag of tricks and go mental. And when you hear about things like that happening in the world, you have to wonder, about that darkening, what we're inflicting on ourselves as a species, because it's not natural to, get a gun and just go out and blow people up that you don't know. It's not in our innate human nature. I know you could argue it is, and history would say that it is, but I think that's like, if you get two people together, they'll find ways to cooperate and survive together. 3, they'll form a little mini society. Below 12, that society will probably function pretty well. It's when you get big groups of people that you create churches and governments and, competing interests. And then you start to sort of go down the slippery slope of, undermining the basic human ethics due to those higher competing interests. But they're not higher. Our basic human ethics are the fundamental and should be the cornerstone of who we are. Do not kill. Do not take. Do not break. The things you learn as a toddler. You should hold true to those throughout your life. And if we did that as a species, we'd be a lot better off. Like with rigor. With absolute rigor. But yeah, I think that, a lot of those dark happenings in the world, I think our best strategy to kind of counteract that is by always behaving, g'day, how you doing, with hope. So you should have seen 2 people walk past then, very nice lady, smiling. Theoretically, you can see all of that. But, okay, you should see a baby frilly lizard running across a little boardwalk here. So I'm looking down. G'day, little fella, how are ya? So there's this little lizard. He's staring straight at me like, what is this guy? I do not have any meat or anything, buddy. I used to, when I was in my 20s, I was working my way through night school and university, and I used to get a bunch of temping jobs. One of them was for the Queensland Department of Transport, and the gig was, 6 months, so it was pretty stable. For the office temping work was like day-to-day sort of stuff, because, I'm good with numbers, spreadsheets, tibbity typing and all that sort of stuff. So it was that kind of mundane office work. But yeah, it was stable for a while. And the building they had, which was over at Spring Hill, if I remember correctly, they have these big frilly neck lizards that run around in this little courtyard. And most of the workers stay away from them, but I love them. You go in there, you sit down, and if you've got a ham roll, I'd give half of my lunch to them. I'd in retrospect, I don't know if it's healthy for them or not. And, an animal, I guess, should survive on its own. But when you're in a city, you scavenge. But it was, ham, and it was a good ham, so I hope it wasn't in any way harmful to them. G'day. Now, people see me talking probably and think that I'm babbling to myself, which adds an extra layer. So I've gotten, when I started, I felt awkward and embarrassed just being dressed up, walking through the city dressed up. Now I'm acclimated to that. So my new normal is like, yeah, g'day. Lean into it, no worries. But anything absurd, strange, or foolish that I do on top of that gets me back to that level of awkwardness. Like skipping through the city the other day for a dare, I was shitting myself. It was terrible. It was really, really bad. But do what you got to do. So there's 3 dudes up here. That was well done. Fella just tossed his bag in the air, let it flip in the air, and then caught it on his shoulders. Not too bad. It's a bit like the flip the bottle, catch it on the ground thing. Okay, so you should see a bridge and a City Cat ferry. So directly in front of me, there's a City Cat ferry going across. So I'm pointing in that direction now. You should see my arm, and crossing your field of view, a ferry. And when I turn this way, that's the Story Bridge where we came from. The Botanical Gardens and the city on the left. Story Bridge in the middle. City Cat ferry going over there. Stop, let people on or off. And now we continue. Should see some smiling dudes in maroon and white uniforms. Queensland maroon is a popular colour. My kids, their uniforms are all maroon. So we'll wiggity walk along here. I don't know if it's still streaming or not. I love that I could just be walking along talking to myself. That's great. I think in life, it's good to have the flexibility to be able to just jump into varying roles, you know, and do your best. So you should see an old sort of pier. Looks like termites have been at it, going at the river there. And we're crossing underneath the bridge. Let me touch the camera. Yeah, I reckon this stream might be okay. Ahead is a red human figure, like the antediluvian man. I think that's right, except with fewer arms and legs. Leonardo da Vinci or whatever it is. He's got a little pouch. We don't need to be gender graphic, people. You know, superheroes generally don't have visible junk. A lot of low-hanging trees here. So I'm going to divert and take the high road so that I don't have to deal with all the low-hanging trees. Because this banner can be a right game of Tetris sometimes. So g'day. Cyclists, be careful, cross over. All good. Now we're up here. Shame there's not more of a river breeze. I'm looking forward let's see, there's a reflection here. So you're not a little bit too far to the right, are you? So I've just tweaked the camera out of the concern that you are a little bit too far to the right. I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing to do, but in describing it, we can now learn from it. So I think I've tilted the camera more towards the left. You can probably see like the side of my head, but hopefully 80. G'day. Captain Australia, I'm going to walk to Melbourne at the end of the year for the Kids Cancer Project. It's a charity thing. Okay, so here we go. That dude looks like he's sewn elbow patches onto his shirt. Elbow patches are always pretty scholarly, but I think they go on a jacket. Unless you got, you know, clinical problem. Quiet, Simon. Okay, we're walking along here. In front, there's two big buildings. On the top, it says Flight Centre on the left and Emporium Hotel on the right. And when I was a little boy, H was still a vowel in the school books. So, you know, Queen's English, I guess, A-E-I-O-U-H. And they had this idea that it's sort of like a Cockney sounding thing, that if a word begins with H, it sounds like the vowel. So I live in an house, you know, there's an arbour. So whenever you have that H word in there, you don't want to get run over by a bike. An hippopotamus. I saw an hippopotamus. That it was an historical event. And now, like, it's I guess open season, whether you're meant to say, because I've seen it in the news, we have come to a historical moment. And I was raised that that's incorrect. I was raised Pluto was a planet. So, you know, things change, adapt. But yeah, I think the premise of H being a vowel is that when you speak that sort of Englishy accent, it just doesn't, you don't hear that H. I'm staying at an hotel, lovely hotel. So that's my way of thinking on it, from the rattled mind of Captain Australia. Okay, now to the right, I will turn. You should see a walking bridge over to the QUT campus and Botanical Gardens. And you should see a building there with a sign that says Queensland Maritime Museum. And I'm saying that so that I will know when I look at the stream what you should see, what I saw, and what you do or do not see. And learn about the camera, which is still there. And I don't even know if it's still streaming. So there's 3 cannons looking like they're ready to mess up that bridge. You should see now, 4 cannons, 2 large, 2 small. And I'll tilt. That's me tilting, doing a little bow to the cannons so that we can get an idea of how high or low your perspective is. Okay, all for science, all in preparation for Captain Australia's Big Walk, 26/12/21. I will walk from Brisbane to Melbourne. If you do not believe that an old, chubby, broken cancer survivor can walk continuously from Brisbane to Melbourne, I say continuously, I mean like the pace will be somewhere between 30 to 75 kilometers a day, 75 being a max if I go hard, and 30 being a minimum if I chill. If you do not believe that's possible, allow me to prove you wrong. And if I do, see it as a bet. Like when I get down there, drop $1,000 on the charity. Come on. You know, ye of little faith, make penance for your lack of faith. God, that sounds creepily religious. I do not think I'm Batman. Faith, I don't have any particular faith. I do believe there's a higher spiritual meaning to our lives, and it's incumbent on us to actively pursue that. I also believe, and this is my more and most serious belief, that beliefs are like rectums. We all have one. Comparing them really is not necessary and can lead to misunderstandings, and it can get messy. You look after your own, preserve it, learn how to care for it, and adapt if you're interested in rectums. That's good. But fundamentally, respect. You have yours, I have mine, and nobody really knows the deal. So the thing that unites us as human beings is our cluelessness. You don't know that there's a God, no matter your faith. I'm sorry if the Pope insists there is. He is a liar. a fraud. He doesn't know. Objectively, you can't prove that you exist. You know, reality. It's all a. There's a point where science, philosophy, faith, history, sociology, they all intersect, and that point really, it comes down to existence, and it's those fundamental questions that none of the isms, including science, can definitively answer because nobody knows. We accept everything on the basis of sensory logic. I woke up today, the sun rose. That accrual of experience gives you this innate sequential bias about what's going to happen tomorrow. So we accept that as our reality, but we also, some of the smartest people in the world say, oh yeah, simulation theory is a thing. I think that's nuts personally, but again, beliefs are like rectums, believe what you want to. So they assert that that's a possibility, and if you accept that fundamental, then all science is subject to sudden, spontaneous, absolute overturn. You know, I can go Neo and go off flying into the sky or whatever. So it's the ultimate assertion that, it sits well with the idea of benevolent or evil God, because at the end of the day, under that construct, anything is possible. And simulation theory, that AI, there's an AI guided simulation that doesn't really look functionally that different to there being a God. There's a creator. They just say the creator's a computer. Who created the computer, dickhead? You know, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I've got to get that under control. So, it's all very interesting to talk about and explore existence. Ethics, I think human ethics are profoundly important regardless where your beliefs sit. Because, you have to, even though you can't say definitively there's a God or not or whatever you choose to believe, you're alive and you'll be alive tomorrow, hopefully. And ideally, I think human history is not an illusion. People matter. What we do matters. What we say matters. How we treat each other matters. And that's as good a way to relate to your world as any. So be kind to people. Spread it. Share it. Sorry, we got a little bit sort of rambly, cerebral, weird there, Captain Australia. Have you dropped acid? No, I haven't, he says defensively. That was a little bit defensive, Captain Australia. Are you sure you haven't dropped acid? Well, sometimes people give me water. So, if we're still streaming, don't give me water, people. I love and trust that gesture too much. So, there's a kid who's slipped and hurt themselves. Under adult supervision by the look. Hope they're okay. Doesn't seem to be too severely hurt. So now, you should see the river, a green stretch of grass, the city, the not Coronation Drive, the freeway. What's that bridge called? I can't remember. It's got a name. So we're walking through South Bank. There's a gentleman there fixing his bike up. Should see a row of denuded trees with just a few little leaves and a bird flying past, a pigeon. So, did the stream capture any of that? I do not know. And the narration is so that I can check it out when I get home and learn from it. Because I want to do a good job with the streams. Why? Captain Australia's Big Walk. Why does it matter about streaming it? Well, 3 reasons. If people watch it, it's likely some might drop a few coins from their pockets to the charity. Reason number 1. So the charity is probably the most important reason. But the second is it's an adventure. I want to share that. That's my gift to you. Enjoy it, We're going to see some beautiful parts of Australia. G'day, not mental. Number 3 is that profoundly I want to record all that for my children in case the cancer comes back for me. I want them to see who I was, what I thought, what I'm about. So all that talk about belief, my 40-year-old son, he's not 40 now, 8 now, may later come on that. Listen to it and think, Jesus, Dad, you were mental. And I cherish that. I cherish being able to provide him in the future that voice. Yeah, so, you know, the streaming and getting the streams right is important to me, and this is a test. So we're walking through South Bank. Up ahead, you should see a pathway. Lovely, beautiful path going through the city alongside the river. There's one of these, I think they're called an ibis. Are they an ibis? Little birds. And there's a cart coming towards us with like a gardening attachment of some kind, you know, mowing or whatever. You should see a bird flying down towards the river there and landing on the edge. And there's the cart going back past us. My hand is pointing directly forward. Hopefully that's right in the smack middle of what you're seeing. Okay. Cyclists. Not in a smile. Not in a smile and a wink's good to a something. There's all these Monty Python sayings rattling around in my head that I don't quite have any of them in completion. So when you take little pieces, you can marry them together and repurpose them into something. We are the knights who say Nip. What's that from? The Holy Grail, I guess? You people, you'd all be too young. Does anybody know Monty Python? They were big when I was a kid. Funny buggers. John Cleese. John Cleese is incredible. Very smart man, I think. Ethical man too. I think I followed him on Twitter for a while. He seemed quite a decent human. Anyway, wiggity walking through chiggity South Bank. Dude on a speed limited truck going past, you should see that. And the city on the right, you should see that. G'day, how you doing? And we will move off to the left so we don't freak anybody out or get in their way. So the city's off to the right. Here comes a cyclist. You should see a cyclist dropping out of your field of view. Up ahead you should see some boats. Bunch of kids swimming on the left there. Well, I got to be aware that when my head turns left, yours doesn't. Why don't we have a smart AOA camera? Swivels around, frames things intelligently, listens to me and goes, oh, I know what you want, Buffhead Captain Australia. You want me to turn and look at we don't want to look at the children swimming. That's creepy. But you take my point. Wouldn't that be nice? It's 2021, come on. Weren't we meant to have a civilian colony on the moon by 2010? Or was that 2020? I remember at the turn of the millennium, the scientists of the day forecasted, maybe it was 2020, so it was a colony on the moon 2020. So, you know, something with like a casino. It'd be pretty cool to go up and, you know, spend a few days and play some blackjack or whatever while you look down at the fragile blue globe that is our planet. But 2030, I think they forecast a civilian colony on Mars. But seems a bit pie in the sky, doesn't it? We can't even figure out global warming and all that, and we're going to be terraforming. Anyway, I think human aspiration is a great thing. The problem is having the consensus and the will to act on that. G'day. I like the friendly looks. People give me friendly looks, that's nice, but as long as they're not scared. This dude's swinging his arms like, you know, oh, there's a character in Star Trek who does that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. I think his name's Saru. Look, you look at Star Trek. If that came through on the stream, reference Star Trek Discovery. There's a character called Saru, and if you look at him walk, he walks precisely like that old gentleman does. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. How are you today?
Excuse me. Is there any ferry catch?
Yes. At the end there's a dock. I'm pretty confident. I'm sorry, I can't tell you 100%, but you'll see there's one pulling up now. It's at the end of this stretch. It's maybe 500 meters in that direction.
Previously they have
It used to be down there, but because of all the construction, I think it's shut.
they removed.
So I think it goes across to that pier there, and it also goes down and upriver. I believe it's active. I hope I don't give you bad information, but that way about 500 meters. All the best.
Another stop.
Yeah, on the opposite side. I think the stops on the opposite sides are open. So if it's going down river, it can probably take you there near the casino. But there's a person manning it, so you'll be able to ask them questions. I saw a person. Yeah, so just past this bit, go on, and you'll see. Cheers. Captain Australia, tour guide. That's cool. You see, be helpful. Someone wants your help, give you help. It doesn't, cost you anything except for your time. Which is funny, actually, time is the one currency that matters. It's the only thing we have that dwindles and perpetually dwindles. You never get more of it. It's always running out. So how you spend it should be your most crucial choice as a human being in terms of what you're spending. Much more important than how you spend the 10 grand that you're thinking of either going to, Bali or blowing it at the casino or whatever. It's more about the time. But yeah, that said, you should give your time to people, help people who need your help. So you should see to the left a stage, and they're putting up flowers and decorations and stuff, and there's hanging flowers. I don't know if you see that. So I'm pointing at it now, and you should see construction directly in front of us. And I think the flag might flop in front of you and obscure your view. I think the streams can go for up to 2 or 3 hours before they poop themselves. So I'm just going to keep you running, keep talking, and then forensically rip it to pieces when I get home. Figure out what works and doesn't. Is the camera still there? Yep, still oriented, yep. Flag is over here. And then we're good. Don't want the flag to flop in you. Oh, hey, buddy. How you doing? Sorry, did you just say captain? Sorry, man. I'm actually streaming at the moment too. That's not a problem.
I was following you on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
My wife.
Yeah, good, eh?
My kids and I get a photo with you?
No, of course not. Awesome. Of course not.
Come up, Eli.
Hey, sweetie. How are you?
Say hello to Captain
What's your name, buddy? Hi, Eli. You got a fist bump in you? Do you know how to... Pow! That was a strong fist bump, Eli. Nice to meet you.
We'll come up with a photo. Yeah? He's doing the big walk.
Pretty smile.
Thank you, man. When's the big walk happening, mate? When's the date?
26th of December. It's my birthday. It's the 5th anniversary of my cancer treatment too.
I was reading all about it, mate. Yeah. All sounds really awesome for you.
Yeah,
great cause.
Touch wood. Well, actually, I was going to say touch wood, nothing goes wrong, but it would be good if something goes wrong as long as it's not fatal, because, oh yeah, Captain Australia got caught in a flood or something.
Do you have many people coming with you?
No, just me. Yeah, there's no support. I left home when I was 15 and walked to Sydney, and I'm trying to recreate the hope that I had when I did that, because I need that to push through my own healing, I think. Yeah.
Where are you walking today?
Today I've just come from the valley over the bridge and just...
I saw you down at Wellington Point when you did that.
You should see a man with a magnificent beard, by the way. I'm just sorry. I hopefully that's not a problem. I can obscure you and remove you when I get home, but it's a bloody live stream. I don't know what the etiquette is or anything, too, mate.
You're fine.
But yeah, the idea is so I can share it and even forget that I'm sharing it, that people can see Ballina and Coffs Harbour and all those beautiful places. Yeah.
Mate, sorry to interrupt.
But no, don't. Delighted, absolutely delighted to meet you. All the best, and you have a beautiful family. Eli, bye, mate. Now you look after your mum and dad, okay? They're gonna need you to keep an eye on them, make sure they're all right. All right, cheers. Take care. So just had a lovely encounter with a young family. Very cool. That is very nourishing for me. Oops, the flag's flippy flapping in front of you. Okay. Don't want that to obscure what you can see. So we're walking along. So you should see cyclists, people going past. I don't even know if we're still streaming, but I'll find out when I get home and we'll check the quality of it. So, gentlemen, how you doing? G'day. So, what we should see here is a bunch of construction just off the river, all set up on pontoons and boats and floaty thingamabobs. So they're building a walking bridge across, it looks like. Well, I assume it's walking. Maybe it's going to allow cars through. It looks pretty... I can't tell from here whether it's wide or not. It looks sort of like it could be for cars. It's certainly big enough. That said, the foot traffic that you'd get on this would be pretty solid, or you'd hope. Okay. So we should see a sign that says Brisbane is connecting that tells us about it. Neville Bonner Bridge. Two cities' most iconic open spaces. So it doesn't actually specify if it's only a footbridge from what I can see. G'day. G'day, how you doing? Hey mate, how are you? South Bank businesses operating as normal. So you should see information about the Neville Bonner Bridge, turning, and the city, and theoretically you see exactly what I see. And it looks like I'm trying to do it. I just realized that it looks like I'm trying to karate chop nothing. Oh man. Okay. Here we wiggity jiggity skiggity go. You should see a truck about to run us over and going up a path. And South Bank, the wheel of Brisbane. You should see the bottom of that. If I tilt backwards, you should see more of that. Performing arts, lovely. Cultural centre. So, you know, this is the creative heart of Brisbane, I guess, although, you know, real artists might say that that's the West End or New Farm or wherever. I don't know. Wherever, like, there's something about commercial art that's created to share and to achieve its maximum sort of shareability, as opposed to just like raw, authentic art. You know, something like a fringe artist might make, someone who doesn't really care about whether it's commercially viable or not, and they have a calling that comes from the outside. Oh, we're getting looked at. Hey guys, how you doing? G'day. Hi. G'day. Hi kids. Hi. Okay. Okay. So, you should see the Brisbane sign and the William Jolly Bridge there, which we're going to go cross. I don't know how far we've walked. Feels like somewhere between 5 to 8 kilometres so far. I like to do 20 a day these days. It's the sad thing is I do this stuff. The dog had gotten used to these lovely 20k walks, 10 in the morning, 10 at night sort of thing. You shouldn't walk him too much more than that, but he loves a good 10k. He's a border collie cross, so he has boundless energy and he just loves it. But since I've been getting out practicing for the Captain Australia for the big walk, he's been getting a little less, the poor fella. So, but we take him to the dog park more to compensate for it. And the kids get to get in on that. So I got into a groove for a while when I was pulling out of the cancer pit, where it was just solitary walking, me and my mate Harry, the dog. That was lovely and healing. Like if you have a problem that's just burning your life up, just get out there and walk. Use that time to think it through. Try and find a sense of hope and breathe life into that sense of hope, because it's hope that is the ultimate fuel that you need. You can make these sort of short-term changes. You can throw a frenzy of energy at a problem and it'll fix it a little bit. But hope just unlocks genuine different futures for you, because it's like an infinite expanding source of fuel. When I say hope, I mean like a genuine in your bones belief that positive change is available to you in your life. So you might be, dealing with mental illness, substance abuse. You might have a history that scarred you, trauma, domestic violence, whatever it is. Something's been inflicted on your life, or the life of somebody you know, and they seem stuck in a rut that they can't shake themselves out of. Hope, all of the clinical tools that you could have, all of the psychological help, I need to see a psychologist, I need AA or group therapy or whatever, that they're all useful tools. They're all individual tools to help you achieve what you need. But hope is like the fuel that makes the car go. You can fix the car up and work on it, but pushing it, you'll only get so far. With hope, bang, 60k an hour before you know it. But still, you'll get there pushing. So if you don't have hope, in its absence, if you can't figure out what else to do, you move forward. If anything, the big walk's a metaphor for that. It's moving forward however much life grinds you down. Get up, dust yourself off, try and just sort of find the direction the light's coming from and walk towards it. Well, I think that's the way I see it anyway. So we're crossing no, this isn't the William Jolly Bridge, is it? That's over there. This is the Thingamabob Bridge. Captain Cook Bridge, I think. Yeah, Captain Cook Bridge. I think. I know that, I knew that, and I should know that. What's going on? Chemotherapy. I think cognitively it's sort of like a person with MS or any sort of degenerative condition or autoimmune conditions. They can get a thing called cognitive fog, where, you still have your intelligence, but you can be standing in front of a cupboard holding a tea bag, wondering how you got there. You can just sort of find that you're in these pattern-forming sort of habitual processes, and you're leaning on them because you've got this impairment in your executive functioning. For me, it's not that bad, but in the forums they call it chemo brain, and I've got at least some of it. And I don't even know necessarily that chemo's to blame. Like, I can't get a good night's sleep since cancer. And it's not stress or anxiety or anything, or, could be, or it may have been in the past. I think it's just some functional change, maybe relating to my metabolism. After the Gold Coast walk, I got a good 7 hours. That was really good. So my hope is that the healing component, one of my underlying motivations for the big walk is to heal myself. And then to show others that they can heal, that broken things can be fixed, but you have to be brave, you have to have a plan, you have to execute it, do your own thing, however it looks for you. But broken things can be fixed. Hope is available. They can see that I found it, breathed life into it, and used it. And that's something that's available to everybody. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it. So the idea is, in that big walk, a part of the healing component is, after walking, let's say over 3 days, I walk 180 kilometers. I'd like to think I'm getting a good sleep. You know what I mean? And I've got to make sure not to have siestas during the day. So I plan to take an instrument and some reading material, because walking in the hottest part of the day would be unsound. And I'll go into a pub, maybe, meet people, But if I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'll still need to take those rests, but I'll be by myself. And there's something to be said just for looking at the ocean, but or looking at clouds and naming the shapes. So you can find amusement. If you're bored, you're boring, as the song says, But I might be alone, solitary, and need to amuse myself. And, you know, the pull of a midday siesta in the hot sun, in the shade, retreating from the hot sun might be pretty strong. So I have to resist that, I think. And hopefully I'll get to a point where I can sleep 10 hours a night, you know. That would be, to come out of the big walk with that would be a delight. And I'll report it, because I do hope that there'll be some, just as a gift to people who are broken in their lives, there'll be some hope to take away from the way that I fix myself, you know. I think there's been a touch of that already. I've had exchanges with people that are constructive and positive and helpful. And I hope that continues, because it nourishes me spiritually. And yeah, anyway, I hope to get my sleep. Because right now I get maybe 2 hours, wake up. I get back to sleep okay, and I dream okay, so the sleep is healthy. But it's just, I'd like it to be longer. Still dream vividly, which is a sign that the sleep is healthy, apparently. Okay, now we're approaching the Queen Street Mall. So you should see a big round sculpture in front of us. And people headed down the mall. And I'm going to go down to King George Square and pack up my bag a bit, hop on a bus home. Because I think it's getting a little bit close to therapy time. I should have kept a closer eye on the clock, to be honest, but you're up there on the shoulder and I can't. If I ask Siri what time it is, it might bollocks up the stream, assuming the stream's still going. But here there'll be a clock. Well, King George Square has one big massive clock. So hopefully I haven't, if I've done something appalling parenting wise, I'll be horribly distressed, but I don't think so. So I left the valley, it was like 9:30. It can't be more than 12 now, I don't think, in which case plenty of time. Therapy is 1:30. Oh God, when I said that, dude gives me a look. So the natural assumption that this gentleman made was that the therapy is for me, I think. So Simon, stop talking about therapy as you walk down the street in public dressed as a superhero, you moron. Oh dear. It's like if I were to just suddenly quack like a duck. If you do that in civilian clothes, people will think you're a bit mental. But if you do it and you're already looking a bit mental, it's like, you know, and I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to trivialize mental health. Because of all of the aspects of health, I think it's actually probably one of the most fundamental and important to address. Why? Because physical health, it's functional, you know. If your arm's messed up, you can get it repaired. If you can't affect the repair, you can do what you can to mitigate the problem or maximize your mobility or whatever. You can have clear strategies. But mental health is a slippery slope. Anxiety can become depression. You know, mental health problems, I think, can cascade, you know, like they can encroach on your quality of life quite severely. Starts with one thing and contributes to another. You know, like if I started with coping with, let's say, agoraphobia. So I'm scared to go outside and I don't have the help I need or the tools that I need to get past that. So what happens then, being housebound, all of that sameness, that and I think that inside me, that sense that I'm not fighting as hard as I can, doing as good as I can to overcome it, that, you know, I'd carry a sense of shame, the stigma of mental illness as well. And that then forms depression. But then the depression over a year takes shape into something else as well. So, you know, social phobias form. Eating disorders, all kinds of things can result from it. So when I joke, I think, you know, it's funny, you need to be able to joke about anything, really. And I think as long as humor isn't meant to be cruel, if you're not joking at someone's expense, come on. So I don't mean to. So if I joke about me looking like I'm mental, I'm not trying to say by association that having a mental problem is wrong. Okay, we should see a red flashing walkie man, people, a COVID-19 vaccination location, a bus, and you're still oriented forward. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just an old buffet, so if I get it wrong and say the wrong thing, please don't be hurt by it, you know? So I'm just trying to be righteous and do the right thing. And I absolutely do not want to take anybody's dignity or hurt their feelings. So when I joke about myself looking crazy, it's purely, that's my narrative. It's me. And it's only me. And there's nothing wrong with looking or being crazy. You know, to use a sort of a general purpose word for any behavior that is not seen as immediately socially conventional. I think I lean into and embrace unconventionality. So according to this, it's 11:20. My concerns about time were ill-founded. All is well. So we're crossing King George Square. I've been talking the whole time. Part of that's a deliberate thing too. Part of that is so that I can, you know, verify the quality of the audio and all of that. I might invent a song that's worth, you know. Oh, I did actually. I made a song. It was a joke thing with my kids, but I think Katy Perry should buy it from me, to be honest, because I think it's in her wheelhouse, and I don't know why. It just came up sort of randomly. So it's one step at a time. So I don't have the core lyrics, just the verse, guys. I think the song, the main part is upbeat, up tempo. So it's ba ba da dee dee da 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 dee dee da 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 dee da 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 da. But the chorus is one step at a time, step at a time, and you know she goes all high pitched and ain't no mountain too hard to climb, one step at a time. So I made that as a joke to torment my son, which you do, and it just randomly jumped into my head for no clear reason. So Katy Perry, if you're watching this, I'll sell you that song. What's my mortgage? 240 grand, I think, somewhere around there. So Katy Perry, I'll sell you that song for $240,000. Plus, you'll need to make a tax component of that as well. So it might look more like 275,000 or whatever. There might be GST, capital gains, and a few other things that I need to factor into the math. But you get me. Katy Perry, if you're not careful, I'll sell it to Rihanna. So, you know, better jump on board. The bidding needs to start, I think, soon. But if it doesn't start soon, the offer's still open a year from now. What the hell am I doing? Let's check how you're positioned. You should see a reflection there. I think the camera may have done a decent job collecting today. We'll find out. But you should have seen a reflection of me and yourself being that little oblong shape on my shoulder. Up here, I'm going to take the flag down, mask off, all of that, and head home. You should see buses driving by on our left. This is your captain speaking. If you gaze out your left window, you should see buses flying past. Okay. One step at a time. Impressive business people. I used to dress up like that. Fancy, g'day. Fancy suits and nice haircuts. I never did the nice haircut thing. Even in corporate Australia, I would get a home haircut. That's my flair. So in corporate Australia, I subsisted by being extremely smart. I am extremely smart, despite all evidence to the contrary. Despite the bad decisions that I make daily, I am a clever person, more or less. Not cleverer than some, but I'm not slow. So in corporate Australia, I was able to use my intellect as my main tool, and my honesty, I think, my integrity. So I was able to build consensus and find win-win solutions that would motivate people to, overcome corporate inertia and do what needed doing. So I did pretty well, reasonably well, for somebody who has no interest in dealing with the C-level politics, CEO, all of that stuff. Oh my God, no, stay the hell away from it. It's no. I think even in ethical businesses, as soon as people get into the relativity of power and control, it becomes a different. It's like a Game of Thrones, and that was always appalling to me. So, dude skating past looks a bit like where's Waldo? He's got a nice little cap on. Here we go, criggity across the riggedy road. G'day. That dude thought I was talking to myself, and maybe I am. That delights me, the idea that the stream is not going, and I'm walking down the road talking to myself. There's no little angel on my shoulder that I'm conversing, having a one-way chat with. It's just all going into the void. And I don't know why that delights me, but it does. Anyway, corporate Australia, yeah. More bad than good in corporate Australia, I reckon. Corporate life anywhere. Money is a lie agreed upon by society to define what's valuable. But I don't think we as a species have got our shit together. There's too much exploitation, greed, short-term decision making. And, that flows, like, it's not just corporate, it's government. Well, government really is just responding to corporate interests, I think, and general PR. Sorry, I'm just rambling again. Please ignore all of this. This is just an old man musing about the world, really. Nothing to see here, move along, move along. I am pulling down. Let's see if the stream's still going. Appears to be. I cannot tell if it's sideways or not. Someone's watching. G'day. You can just see some grass. This is me. G'day. Oh, I'm pulling apart the thingo. Let's reverse the camera. Now, to me, I look like I'm sideways, but I may not be. So, I don't know if you can see. We'll make this interesting for you. This is the big banner for the Kids Cancer Project, which I'm now pulling to pieces so that I can ride the bus home, because I have to take my little boy to speech therapy. He's autistic and thriving. Lovely, lovely boy. Autism, if you work hard and catch it early, can be as much of a gift as a problem, because it gives the kid, I think, I'm not autistic, so I don't see and understand it fully, but my son has some amazing problem-solving abilities, and seeing and triaging a problem in a way that I never would. And I said before, I think I'm smart, but this kid, maybe he's just a borderline genius, and it has nothing to do with the autistic profile. He's just smart. But anyway, so we've packed up our magic banner, and let's get this. I hope the phone was well oriented for the stream. I might say my farewell though. What do we got? Any comments or anything? Sorry if I'm upside down or sideways. I'm just practicing and trying to get better at all of this stuff. Look, anybody who is watching, thank you so much for your kind interest. It's all for the Kids Cancer Project, and it's also just a functional, concrete example of an old man healing, fixing a broken thing. So I hope that's a story that can give hope to other broken people. And I'm going to turn this off and head home now. So cheers, see you next time.